It's
yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, can see you, and you can see your laser pointer.
Okay, awesome. So thank you for the introduction, and thanks to the organizer for this really nice conference. So I'm going to talk to you about causal non-separability, actually. So it's a key feature in quantum causality, and I'm going to present you a way to certify it in a semi-device independent way with trusted quantum inputs. So this is a joint work with Alastair Abbott, Nicolas Brunner, Ivan Šupić, and Cyril Banciard. And this work, we are currently writing the paper. So I'm just going to start by give you a broad definition of causal non-separability and also give you our main motivation for this work. So let's start with the following causal scenario. So we have two players, two parties, Alice and Bob, and they are both in separated closed laboratories. So they both receive some input system. Then they're going to perform some operations that are going to generate classical outcomes A for Alice and B for Bob, and then they're going to output some system out of their labs. And so the question is, how can their labs, how can Alice and Bob can be related in a causal way? What kind of causal resource can link the labs with each other? So in standard quantum, in the standard quantum formalism, for example, we can have some kind of quantum channel with memory. And the one I just present you here is compatible with the causal order Alice is before Bob. Alice is in the causal past of Bob. She can signal to Bob, but Bob cannot signal to Alice. And so I'm going to describe this causal order, not this causal order like this. Of course, we can also have it the other way around. So here it's a quantum channel with memory, compatible with the causal order Bob is before Alice. And so causal separability is the following. So a causal resource is said to be causally separable if it is compatible with a well-defined causal order. So either it is compatible with Alice is before Bob, either it is compatible with Bob before Alice, or it can be, in a general case, you can describe it as a convex mixture of both. So you don't know which one of them it is, but the causal order is well-defined and is fixed. And so a natural question is, can there be more general causal structure? So probably many of you know about it, but I'm going to introduce you to the process matrix formalism. So it's a formalism that was introduced by Oreshkov, Renshaw, and Buchner to tackle this question. And it is a kind of generalization of the standard quantum formalism because quantum theory is applied locally inside Alice and Bob labs. So you give input Hilbert space to Alice and Bob, output Hilbert space to Alice and Bob, and they're going to perform some quantum operations that you can describe by quantum instruments. And so we do not make any assumption on the global causal order. So by doing this, a new resource is involved, the so-called process matrix, W. And this process matrix is going to relate Alice and Bob labs with each other. Alice and Bob are going to produce some correlations that you can describe with a generalized Born rule. And so we want these probabilities to be non-negative and to sum up to 1. We want them to be valid. And so this is going to impose some constraints on these operators, on these matrices, on the process matrices. One more thing, we can also, without loss of generality, we can just add ancillas. So Alice and Bob can also receive ancillas. And I'm going to describe this ancillas with this ancillary space. So the tilde spaces, so for Alice, A tilde, and for Bob, B tilde. And you can, of course, update also the generalized Born rule to describe the correlation with the ancillas inside the expression. And so very interestingly, it was shown that some process matrices are incompatible with a definite causal order. They cannot be written like this. And this corresponds to what I just showed you before, the causal separability. So this is a process compatible with Alice before Bob, a process compatible with Bob before Alice. And so if your process matrix cannot be written as a convex mixture of both, then it is said to be causally non-separable. And so causal non-separability is this key feature, this new key feature of quantum causality that we want to understand, study, and certify. In analogy with entanglement and entanglement witnesses, there is a device-dependent way to certify causal non-separability. And so device dependent because we trust Alice and Bob, their operation are fully characterized. And in this certification, we can actually construct causal witnesses. And remarkably, we can do that with a semi-definite program. In analogy with Bell non-locality and the violation of Bell inequalities, there is also a device-independent way to certify causal non-separability. So in this device-independent certification, Alice and Bob are this time completely untrusted. They are treated, the operation are treated like black boxes. And we just are interested in the correlation that they are going to produce given some classical input X and Y. And so sometimes this correlation are going to be able to violate so-called causal inequalities. And we will say that these correlations are non-causal. There are also intermediate approaches. So for example, there is a semi-device independent certification of causal non-separability that was proposed by Bavaresco et al., which is analogous with quantum steering. So some parties are completely trusted and some are completely untrusted. And in our work, we are interested in a different semi-device independent regime. So we just start by noticing that in analogy with the fact that there are some entangled states that cannot violate Bell inequalities, there are causally non-separable process matrices that cannot violate causal inequalities. Nevertheless, interestingly, for entanglement, so Buscemi show that all entangled states can generate non-local correlation in a specific scenario where Alice and Bob are completely untrusted, so treated like black boxes, but instead of receiving classical inputs, they receive quantum inputs. So it's a scenario with quantum inputs. So instead of X, Alice receives rho X that lives in this ancillary space, A tilde, and Bob, instead of receiving Y, receives rho Y. And so moreover, it was also shown that for all entangled states, you can construct a measurement device independent entanglement witness in this type of scenario. And so quite naturally, based on all these analogies, inspired by these analogies, we just wanted to explore if we could say something about causal non-separability with quantum inputs in such scenario with quantum inputs. And so here is the outline of my talk. So first, I'm going to introduce you to a new concept that we introduced in our paper, the concept of causal non-separability for distributed measurements. I'm going to show you how this new concept allows to certify causal non-separability with quantum inputs. I'm then going to show you an important example, so the certification of the causal non-separability of the quantum switch with quantum inputs. And finally, I'm going to explain you how, if we make an additional assumption on Alice and Bob's local operation, we can certify the causal non-separability of all bipartite process matrices. Okay, so here is a scenario we are interested in. So once again, Alice is completely interested, but Bob is completely interested. They are treated, their operations are treated like black boxes. We only trust the fact that they receive quantum inputs. And so the Born rule can be adapted for this type of scenario. So we have an expression for the correlations. And interestingly, with a little mathematical manipulation, we can actually isolate the quantum inputs from the rest of the operators. With the manipulation, in this manipulation, we use the so-called link product. And so the probabilities, the correlations can be interpreted as the action of some big operator, E, which is applied on the quantum inputs. So applied on the ancillary spaces, and it generates the outcomes A and B. And so these big operators, if you look at the families of these guys, they form an effective distributed POVM. So it's a measurement, a POVM, because every element is positive semi-definite. And when you sum over Alice and Bob outcome, it's going to give you the identity. And it is distributed because, well, Alice and Bob are separated. And so A corresponds to the outcome produced by Alice and B corresponds to the outcome produced by Bob. And so the POVM is distributed between Alice and Bob. And so, yeah, these POVM elements are just the application of Alice and Bob's local operation on the process matrix. And so if, interestingly, if I give you a tomographically complete set of quantum inputs, you can have directly access to these measurement elements by only looking at the correlations. And so a natural question is, if I give you a causally non-separable process matrix, can I certify its causal non-separability by only looking at this DPOVM, this distributed measurement element? And to do that, we can just start by looking at a causally separable process matrix and see if it's going to impose any constraints on these measurement elements. So let's start, for example, with a process matrix that is compatible with the causal order Alice is before Bob. So this is this blue guy, this blue diagram. And so we can, once again, identify this block operator that corresponds to the DPOVM, the distributed measurement element. And so we are going to look at Alice marginal. So we just sum up over Bob's outcomes and look, we are just going to look what we obtain. So we can simplify and just, it's actually reduced to summing up Bob's operation. And so Bob's operation are quantum instruments. So a set of CP map that sum up to a CP-TP map. And so we can actually identify here the trace preserving condition of Bob's operation. And so by just replacing this expression here, we simplify our diagrams and we obtain the following expression. So we have an identity operator on Bob's ancillary space. And this guy, we can actually identify this big operator that is applied on Alice ancillary space. And this big guy corresponds to actually an effective POVM on Alice ancillary. And so we end up with this final expression. And this final expression can be interpreted as a no signaling condition from Bob to Alice. Why? Because it implies that Alice marginal probability distribution is completely independent from Bob's quantum inputs. And so interestingly, if I give you a DPOVM, a distributed measurement, and if for all Alice outcomes, this relation is satisfied, well, you can say that the DPOVM is compatible with the causal order where Alice receives her qubit and acts on it before Bob. And so we are going to note this kind of DPOVM like this, and we define some kind of causal order for DPOVM A tilde before B tilde. And so in analogy with the definition of causal separability for process matrices that I just showed you before, we can define causal separability for distributed measurements. So a bipartite DPOVM that can be decomposed as a convex mixture of DPOVMs compatible with the causal orders A tilde before B tilde and B tilde before A tilde is said to be causally separable. So quite trivially, a causally separable process matrix can only generate causally separable DPOVMs. So if I give you a process matrix compatible with A before B, it's going to generate DPOVM compatible with A tilde before B tilde. And interestingly, the converse is also true. So it's not trivial, but we have a proof for that. We can show that for any causally separable DPOVM, you can realize it by local operation on a causally separable process matrix. And so if you have a DPOVM compatible with A tilde before B tilde, you will have a process, you can generate it from a process matrix compatible with the causal order Alice before Bob. Okay, and so if a causally non-separable process matrix can generate causally non-separable DPOVM, when you can certify causal non-separability of the process matrix in a semi-device independent way with trusted quantum inputs. So again, semi-device independent way means with trusted quantum inputs means that you don't trust Alice, you don't trust Bob, but you only trust that they receive quantum inputs instead of classical ones. And so interestingly, we can just ask ourselves, so for which processes is it possible? To do that, we have a really simple protocol. So we just need to find ancillary systems and instruments such that the generated DPOVM are causally non-separable. Interestingly, remarkably, causal non-separability for measurements can be verified with a semi-definite program. And so we can construct witnesses of causal non-separability for measurements. These witnesses are going to be sets of operators on Alice and Bob outcomes. And if this relation is satisfied, then you can say that your DPOVM is causally non-separable. Interestingly, given some tomographically complete set of quantum inputs, you can just decompose the witnesses operators in the basis of the quantum inputs. You just replace this in this relation, and so you end up with this expression, which means that you can measure your witness by only looking at the correlations that are produced. And this allows you to certify causal non-separability for your DPOVM and causal non-separability of the process matrix in a semi-device independent way with trusted quantum inputs. And so we find several examples of process matrices that could be for which their causal non-separability could be certified like this. So the first case is a little bit trivial. It's all process matrices that can violate causal inequalities directly or when they are extended with some entangled states. But all these process matrices can generate causally non-separable measurements. Less trivially and interestingly, we found examples of causally non-separable process matrices that can never violate causal inequalities, but still can be certified with trusted quantum inputs. This is a case of a specific bipartite process matrix that was proposed by Fex et al. But this process is not physical. There is a more interesting example, and this is the case of the quantum switch, which is an example of a physical process matrix that is causally non-separable. And yeah, this process matrix is in a specific tripartite example. So where there is always a third party that is always last. So Alice before Bob, before Fiona, or Bob before Alice, before Fiona. And so I'm just going to explain you how can we certify the causal non-separability of this quantum switch with quantum inputs. So to do that, before going to the quantum switch, we need to generalize our definition of causal separability for the scenario of the quantum switch. So with a third party Fiona, which is always last. So again, you only have two causal orders, A tilde before B tilde before F tilde, or B tilde before A tilde before F tilde. And I'm not going to go into the details, but the generalization is quite nice and simple. And so the quantum switch is an important example because it's a canonical example of a quantum circuit with quantum control of causal order. And so this set of process matrices is so far the only set of causally non-separable process matrices that are known to have physical implementation. And so the quantum switch is a canonical example of this, and it's really simple actually. If you have a control qubit, if it's in state 0, you're going to have the causal order Alice before Bob before Fiona. If it's in state 1, you're going to have Bob before Alice before Fiona. And if you put your qubit in a superposed state, your control qubit in a superposed state, you're going to generate some interference terms that are going to make your process matrix causally non-separable because it cannot be written as a convex mixture of causally ordered process matrices. The causal non-separability of the quantum switch can be certified in a device-dependent way, but it cannot be defined in a device-independent way if we just look at the violation of causal inequalities. So the quantum switch can never violate causal inequalities in the classical scenario, the standard scenario. Nevertheless, we were able to show that it can be certified in its causal non-separability can be certified in our scenario with quantum inputs. So the quantum switch can generate causally non-separable DP-OVM. So to do that, again, we have this scenario where we don't trust Alice, we don't trust Bob, we don't trust Fiona. We only trust that they receive quantum inputs, A tilde, B tilde. And actually for the quantum switch, you don't even need to give a quantum inputs to Fiona. So it's not necessary. Once again, you identified your DP-OVM elements. And for a specific choice of instruments for Alice, Bob, and Charlie and Fiona, you can show that the generated DP-OVM is causally non-separable. So you do that by with a semi-definite program and you obtain a witness. And so we have shown that the quantum switch generates non-causal correlation in a scenario with quantum inputs. So we were also interested in looking at if our certification is robust to noise or not. So to do that, we just added some white noise to the process of the quantum switch. And so we just analyzed noisy quantum switches. And it is known that for the device-dependent certification, the causal non-separability of the quantum switch is robust to noise for a certain amount of robustness, a certain amount of noise. And so we were actually able to show the same thing for our scenario with quantum inputs. Nevertheless, the robustness is way smaller than in the device-dependent case. And we were not able actually to find instruments that allowed us to certify causal non-separability of these noisy quantum switches with quantum inputs. So there is a whole range where there is a question mark. We don't know if they can generate causally non-separable measurements or not. And so this is in contrast with the case of entanglement, because for entanglement with quantum inputs, you have a general recipe. You can certify the entanglement for all entangled states. And here we don't have a general recipe for our scenario with quantum inputs so far. Maybe there is, but we didn't find it. No, so I said we don't have a general recipe, but actually we have, if we make an additional assumption on the structure of the instruments. So you assume that your ancillaries can be decomposed like this into Hilbert spaces. And you also assume that your instruments have this form. So you perform a measurement on the input spaces, and you perform a quantum channel on the output spaces. You do the same for Bob. I just put Alice here, but you do the same for Bob. And importantly, here, the measurement and the channel are completely untrusted. You only trust the structure of the instrument, of the big black boxes, but these are black boxes too, okay? You just trust the structure. By doing that, if you have a causally separable process matrix, the DPOVM elements are going to be decomposed like this. You can decompose your DPOVM with this expression. And importantly, so remarkably, you only need to look at one DPOVM element. And we can show that all bipartite causally non-separable process matrix generates a DPOVM element. So for example, A equals 0, B equals 0, that does not satisfy this decomposition. So to do that, you just need to select a specific set of instrument elements. And so Alice and Bob are going to perform a projection on the maximally Bell state, entangled state, and they're going to perform on the I spaces, and they're going to perform an identity channel on the O spaces. And by doing that, you just teleport your process matrix on the ancillary spaces. And with a little subtlety, we can show that there always exists a causal witness for the causal non-separability of the process matrix that is also a causal witness for the DPOVM element. So that shows that it cannot be decomposed like this. And so this corresponds to a certification of causal non-separability with quantum inputs with additional assumption. So we called it a measurement channel device independent certification with quantum inputs. And so, yeah, you can ask, can we also do this for the quantum switch? But the generalization is not trivial. It's actually, yeah, there are some subtleties. Nevertheless, we were able to generalize the other semi-device independent approach that I just presented you at the beginning of my talk. So the one that is analogous with this quantum steering. So for example, it was shown in this paper that the quantum switch, the causal non-separability of the quantum switch could be certified in this type of scenario where you trust Alice, you trust Bob, but you don't trust Fiona. And actually, we can generalize their scenario with our assumption and our quantum inputs. So instead of trusting Alice and Bob, you can certify the causal non-separability of the quantum switch and actually all causally non-separable process matrices that can be certified in this scenario. You can do that with so untrusted measurement and channel on some quantum inputs. Okay. And so, yeah, so you could ask, what is the point? Because we have already shown that we could certify the quantum switch with quantum inputs. So what is the point to do that in this other type of scenario? Well, you can actually reduce the gap of the noisy quantum switches that you can certify with quantum inputs. So now we are way closer to the robustness of the device-dependent case. So we have not completely closed the gap, but yeah, now it's way smaller. And so here is my conclusion. So we have made a significant relaxation of assumptions to certify causal non-separability of many processes. So in a scenario where you don't trust the operation, you only trust that they receive quantum inputs. We have introduced a new notion of causal non-separability for distributed measurements. Importantly, we have shown that the quantum switch can generate non-causal correlation in a semi-device scenario with quantum inputs. And so this is interesting because so far the causal non-separability of the quantum switch was always certified with trusted operation, or at least in a scenario where one of the operations are trusted. And in our certification, you don't trust the operation. You trust that they receive quantum inputs. Nevertheless, interestingly, we have figured out that the analogy with entanglement is in some way limited, but we could still were able to show that all bipartite causally non-separable process matrices can be certified with quantum inputs if you make this additional assumption on the local operation. So some perspectives. So it could be nice to understand which causally non-separable process matrices can be certified with quantum inputs or not. We are actually looking at generalization from the multipartite scenarios. And so, for example, it could be nice to certify not only the quantum switch, but this general family of physical causally non-separable process matrices that are the quantum circuits with quantum control of causal order. You may know that for entanglement, if you combine Buchemin on locality with self-testing, you can actually certify the entanglement for all entangled states in a device-independent way. And so we are also actually trying to, for a future work, we are trying to look at this for the case of causal non-separability and our approach. And finally, we believe that this new concept of causally non-separable distributed measurement can be fun to play with on its own, might be interesting. And also it could be interesting to define causal non-separability for other types of objects. And on this, I thank you for your attention.